Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's happy hour episode with Hannah Mercedes, we're going to be talking all about gratitude and why that is the secret to creating, manifesting an experience that we haven't had a chance yet to have in our life, but we know that we would love to have. We're going to talk about the power of gratitude and why that basically really is the secret. And as Rhonda Barnes brought into light for us many years ago now, how the power of gratitude does give us a starting point to becoming the version of self in our professional life, in our romantic life, in our friendship world, how that becomes a starting point of becoming everything that we are wanting, desiring in our little mind and haven't had a chance to do so yet. So how does that happen? How does gratitude work? Why is it really the secret? So we now know that state of being is everything. From our state of being, we co-create our reality. And what really is state of being? Our state of being is the predominant way that we think and feel about ourselves and the world around us. So the state of being, because it is 95% subconscious and unconscious, right? Our nervous system is 95% automatic and autonomic, and our program runs day in and day out unconsciously. We don't even realize when we wake up in the morning, just like when you go to work and you open up your laptop and all your programs open and they start to run. Same with us. Every morning when we wake up and we get out of bed, our internal program starts to run. And we have this nerve inside of us called the vagus nerve, which is the most primitive nerve of our body. And it runs from the top all the way to the bottom. And there's millions of neurons that come out of that and fire signals day in and day out. And those signals have memory from our past experiences, especially our childhood, that carry information through those synapses, through those neurotransmitters, and they give information that sometimes we're completely not aware of unless we start to pay attention to our outside world and how it reacts to us. Pay attention to your outside world. How do your family members talk to you? How about your partner? How about just in general, like life experiences? That is a really good way to start seeing what your internal belief system is about yourself. If you find yourself, much like myself, before I started to do the work, I felt not treated well. I felt not respected. I felt not fully worthy. I felt all these things, but I didn't know that that was my starting point of attraction for everything that I was experiencing in order for me to change what wasn't working for me. And I was being shown that, right? Through my experiences in my life, I was being shown the areas that essentially I wasn't being grateful for. I wasn't grateful for the relationship that I was in because it was really challenging. But until I realized that the reason why it was challenging is because it was mirroring how I was truly feeling about myself, then I started to be grateful for that connection instead of feeling miserable in it. I was being grateful for the fact that I was pushed into this corner that there was nowhere else to go. So instead of pointing my finger to this person and saying, how could they treat me this way? Then I switched to gratitude, and I'm like, thank you so much for essentially making me feel like a total piece of shit, so I can realize that internally I wake up in the morning and I think and feel of myself like this because I am responsible for the experiences that I'm bringing in 50% of the time. Like 50% of all the experiences at all times, I am responsible. So I'm bringing this in for a reason. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you've helped me become the best version of myself, not because you started treating me a different way, because I started treating me a different way. I started to watch my self-talk. I started to watch my inner dialogue, and I noticed that I don't speak to myself really good. I don't tell me I love you. I don't tell me how good I am. Instead, I punish myself and I say the complete opposite with my inner thoughts. So I did my work to change my inner state of being, because our inner state of being is our emotional body, and that emotional body is created by our cognitive body, which is our thoughts. So my thoughts that I was having, because they are subconscious, most of them, right? Like 95% of our thoughts are subconscious, and we have 40,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, something wild. When we pay attention to our outer reality, then we realize what our state of being is based on our experiences. Then we pay attention to our thoughts that are accompanying, right? Like, what thoughts do we have predominantly about our world and ourselves, which are creating our emotions and are becoming emotion, energy of motion, your state of being, and that energy in motion becomes your vibrational frequency, which becomes the point of attraction for other experiences to your life. Imagine if we all lived in a world where our predominant frequency was gratitude, because no matter what our current circumstances or experiences were, we stayed grateful for that, no matter how much money we had, no matter how much sleep we got, no matter anything, we were just grateful for what we actually have as opposed to what we don't have, knowing though that what we want and still haven't had a chance to experience is possible for us. Because a lot of us think that, oh, so-and-so is lucky, or they must be better than me, or they must have something that I don't, or they must be pretty, but that's not true. The only thing that they have that you may not have, if they have something that you want, is a different state of being, because they have a different thought pattern that creates that state of being. Thoughts create emotion, which is the energy in motion, and then from our energy in motion, so thoughts create emotion, which is your energy in motion on your body, and then that leads into our behaviors. Now, if everyone is in gratitude and grateful about everything at all times, so then your energy in motion around you stems from thoughts that are all about gratitude. Imagine what that would feel like. The vibrational frequency would be so high in hertz that you would continuously bring in more experiences to be grateful for in your life. And then your actions would be so wonderful. Like, you would just share love, give more, because you're constantly in this beautiful state of being grateful no matter what. Just imagine how different it is than being in a state of being of feeling guilty, feeling shame, feeling disheartened, feeling disappointed, right? And then what would the actions of that person be like? What would the actions of a person that is immersed in feelings of disappointment and discouragement I can just see it. Like already I can just embody what that person would do and feel like, because I feel like I was that person um, not that long ago. I would feel then that would lead to behaviors of withdrawal, or maybe embarking in things to numb the uncomfortable feelings or the unwanted feelings, maybe feeling sorry for oneself, not pursuing my dreams because perpetuating that cycle that I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy and other people are, and like what's wrong with me, like continuing in that lower vibrational state of being, and then having that be my point of attraction where I feel what is wrong with me, why is this happening to me, and then instead of understanding that it's happening for me and the world is just showing me what I had already signed up for, like my little soul had decided that it was going to go through an anxious attachment style and it's going to have to find out self-worth through her, say, her partner. Whatever it is that I had decided to embark on, we do forget when we come into this beautiful human suit, and it's so much easier to get immersed in the quote unquote negative feelings, because at the end of the day, that feelings that would stem from negative emotions, sadness, fear, anger, disgust versus joy, by probability alone are way higher. So I understand why it is a constant struggle to constantly, like, I shouldn't even say struggle, work. It is work to continuously having to transmute from sadness, fear, anger, disgust, all these predominant emotions. It is work trying to transmute these right back into joy and finding the gratitude of that experience that brought out the sadness and the fear, or the disgust or the anger in the first place. So gratitude really works because it takes you out of these predominant emotions and brings you back into joy. And that's what we want to be doing at all times, because if we stay in the predominant emotion of fear per se, we are going to bring in experiences into our life that will continue to perpetuate just that same feeling, right? Because like attracts like. That's our starting point of attraction. What better way to transmute fear than gratitude? So how do we do that? How do we practice the secret? I feel like I tapped in a bit a minute ago about like reflections in our relationships, but say this experience that is fearful, that is bringing out fear, how do we go use gratitude and stay in, use gratitude so we can transmute that into a positive experience and let go of the fear that comes with it. The gift of that experience that brings out fear is to actually let go of the fear. So if you're afraid of something, every time you get triggered by that experience is an opportunity for you to let it go. Every time you get prickled by that thorn is an opportunity for you to just snip it off. So what is it that you have a fear of? I'm trying to think of an example that I'm scared, or like that used to bring out fear in me, but I think I've done so much work and I've let go of so much that I can't even, like, nothing is so alive in me anymore about fear. Because I've learned to just be grateful for everything. Like even if I did, okay, so the things that I feared the most lately is like all the quote unquote mistakes that I've done, which were opportunities for growth, right? Like my favorite teacher always says, don't call it a mistake, see it as an opportunity for growth. Because at the end of the day, that's what they are. Like we try things out, and by the way we feel after. We know, hey, this worked or this didn't. And then we pay attention to what drove us to that experience in the first place. That opportunity for growth, what was the driving force behind that action? What is it that you were thinking that drove you to have that action in the first place? And since you don't resonate with the results of the action, how can you do different next time? So that's why they're called opportunities for growth instead of mistakes, because as my favorite teacher always says, everything is always exactly as it's meant to be. There are no such things as mistakes, because Creator does not make mistakes. Everything is always exactly as it should be. So therefore, there are no mistakes. It's just opportunity for growth. And I really love that, because I used to really fear of making mistakes, and then fearing the shame that came with that. And I did a lot of work on releasing that. So what I would gain from that experience, so say every time I would do something, I would make a quote unquote mistake, and then I'd have fear. Every time I would find myself in that situation, it would be an opportunity for me to finally let go of that fear. Let go of the fear of making mistakes. Let go of the fear that I need to be perfect. Let go of the fear that I need to appease everyone, because my actions will inadvertently, I don't want to use the word hurt, but they will affect other people in ways that were not intended to affect them negatively. That would not be my intention. But if that is done through the process, I have to sit in the knowing that it was planted exactly as it was meant to be. I was supposed to learn exactly what I was supposed to learn from that experience. The other person or persons were supposed to learn exactly what they needed to from that experience. And for all parties involved, there are no victims, just opportunities for growth. Everyone is learning, everyone is growing. So what is there to fear anyways? Let go of the fear. And then I would have gratitude for that experience. So instead of now thinking about that experience, it would come into my mind, and you get that feeling in your tummy like, oh shit, what have I done? Now it would be like, I'm so grateful for that, because without that, I wouldn't have been able to release all the shame that lives in my body. Without that, I wouldn't really be able to practice self-forgiveness. Or why was I attached to that experience in the first place? I am so grateful that it allowed me to let go of this thing that I don't need to have in my life. And so on and so forth. Gratitude. Gratitude is the best way to resolve anything that feels not good in our body. This is our superpower, our power as humans. We can do this. We can do this because now we have all the tools. And the best way to start is journaling. Just write all the things that you're grateful for yourself, and all the experiences that seem to be challenging. It is up to you to rework everything and reform everything. I have journaled so much. I would just write everything out. The most horrible experiences in my life, I would write why I was grateful for them. I would always focus on the positive of that experience, not the negative, and try to learn the lesson that was meant to come, because everything has a lesson. And if you tackle life like this, then there's nothing really to be upset or sad about. And then you constantly have power, and nothing is ever seen it like it is done to you. It's done for you, and you continue to remain in this state of positivity and zen and acceptance and love, and you bring in more of that, and so forth and so forth. And yeah, I really do believe that this is the secret. I've done so much work on this. This is a really good exercise to do the magic if you have time to magically turn your life around. It is like a 21-day program affirming and having you do gratitude to like really anchor that in and really reprogram your subconscious state of being. Thank you so much for being on another episode with me. I apologize if I was not completely on the ball today. I have been overcoming this wild illness. I haven't felt this unwell in a long time, and I feel like I still have a bit of a brain fog and a bit of a stuffy nose that I've carried with me, but I really wanted to come on today and talk about the power of gratitude, because I feel like even that was what helped me get through these super challenging last 6 days or so. And remember that even that's happening for me, I guess my body just needed to have rest, and I needed to rest my body, and gave me an opportunity to think about things in a different way, because I had time, and I had time to do the things that I may not when I'm feeling 100% and I'm just not present at home as much as I was, due to the fact that I needed to be homebound. With all my love and gratitude, I will see you next time.